Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
This week, members of City Council approved changes to the Recreation and Cultural Services fee policy. Proposed policy states that certain recreation rates will increase in price to keep up with inflation and operational costs, while also keeping services affordable for all. Most members of council were for the changes, but there was some persuasion needed around the cancellation fee to make a concrete decision.
As a member of council, it's important to not only think critically about the information in front of you, but also to be persuadable. So I was persuaded by administration in their explanation of why a cancellation fee would be a good thing, because it would give us an ability to give a lower price to the average person who normally can't afford an annual price. So I think that it is a good thing, and I think it's a positive thing where individuals who don't necessarily have as much money in the bank can get that annual fee price and not have to pay it all at once and bust their budget.
As a whole, council voted in favor to amend the policy, but one councillor was unconvinced and held his hand down.
We talked about inclusivity and making sure that we had the flexibility to be able to make it not a hardship on people if they wanted to cancel their membership. The city loses money on recreation no matter which way we look at it. That's not our city, that's every city. Recreation costs money. And I'm not certain that we need to be in the business of creating a fee to cancel. I'm not opposed to a fee, like 1 month of your membership, give 1 month's notice and you're done. But just to have a straight fee right off the bat, there's so many issues that somebody may or may not cancel their membership for, and I just don't think it's fair across the board.
The Day of Love is coming up this Tuesday, and Boston Pizza has been raising money for local organizations by selling heart-shaped pizzas and cards on Valentine's Day.
We're really proud that it's 30 years since we started the heart-shaped pizzas and the sale of our paper hearts, and we get to support a local organization. And this year, my staff all voted on the Sexual Assault Center and the Mazakowski Heart Institute. We're going to give some of the funds to that as it is our 30th.
The heart-shaped pizzas are available on Valentine's Day, with $1 from each pizza going towards the two organizations that were chosen, as well as to the cutout hearts that they sell throughout the whole month. This fundraiser has been going on for 30 years, something that has made a huge impact on the charities that receive the money.
My partner, David McPherson, and his wife Lisa's son was born with half a heart, and it was my friends and a partner store that started the cutting of paper hearts to start this whole promotion and to see what 30 years has done and how it's grown to what it is. And through our Boston Pizza Foundation, we've been able to give $33 million to charities across this country. And so I am so proud to be part of that.
Border Paws Animal Rescue is holding an event over the weekend to adopt a fuzzy Valentine. Our Zach Kenny has more.
Perfect. So I'm here with Candace on behalf of Border Paws, just about the event going on over this weekend. So Candace, what is the event that's going to be taking place?
So currently we're running our adoption special, which is for Valentine's Day, and it'll run until February 14th, and it's BOGO for kittens. So buy one, get one for kittens under 6 months, and over 6 months is half off. And bonded pairs are also BOGO. So we do have a few cats that are kind of in love with each other, so we're hoping to keep them together. And we're also having our satellite adoption event at Pet Value on the 11th and 12th, so Saturday, Sunday, and it's 12 to 5 each day.
Wow, excellent. And how many cats will be available at these events, if you're aware?
So currently we have 2 kittens already at Pet Value for adoption. And well, depending on if anyone gets adopted in the meantime, we will have, I want to say there's 5 kittens that are for sure coming and a couple more adults.
Oh, excellent. And will there be multiple locations for this event or just at the Pet Value?
So for the satellite adoption that we'll be holding, it's only at Pet Value on this weekend, but our adoption special is at all our locations that help us get our animals available for adoption. So you can come to the shelter. We've got Pet Value, Pet Smart, as well as Puppy Love.
Oh, excellent. And has this event happened before, or is this very new?
We do hold satellite adoption events. We try to do them twice a month now. And we are running Well, we did our Christmas special. We're trying to do a New Year's. We do Halloween and all different nice adoption, specials and help get our animals into their loving home. And Valentine's is the perfect day to bring that love home.
Aw, that's perfect. And since these have been going on for a while, have you noticed like there's an increased adoption rate once you guys hold these events?
There is. On the 25th and 26th of January, we were at PetSmart, and we had 3 adoptions over the weekend of just the animals that we had brought. So we're hoping to increase our adoption rate and have at least 2 satellite adoption events every month.
Oh, excellent. And the locations that these kittens and cats are available to buy, will there also be supplies available? Like, let's say if a new family is adopting a cat?
So all the pet stores, so Pet Value, PetSmart, do have your supplies right there. So you can always, stock up before you leave. Mm-hmm. And at the shelter, we do have different collars and leashes and clothes for our own merchandise that we sell. We just don't have litter and stuff at the shelter that you can purchase.
Oh, awesome. And is there anything that you'd like to bring up that I haven't yet?
So every month currently, the last weekend in the month, we will have our satellite adoptions at PetSmart, and I'm working out other locations to kind of fill that space in between. So if anyone's looking to host us as a satellite adoption event, contact us at the shelter, and I will gladly come to your space.
Excellent. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Candace. I think that should be everything I have to ask.
All right, perfect. It was great to be here.
It's Friday, and what better way to spend the weekend than outdoors? So let's hand things over to the one and only Shelby Clark for weather. Thank you so much to the Miss Lovely Reese Andrews for that introduction. Yes, now taking a first look at your weather forecast. You know, it's looking slightly cloudy, but if you go outside, that sun is peeking behind those clouds. We are seeing a beautiful day today. Things are starting to melt down, which is, always nice to see, as we are seeing some icier conditions out there as it starts to cool down through those evening lows. And then as we warm up through the day, it starts to melt down. So that's really great to see. We are sitting at 3 degrees now. So we are looking at a beautiful temperature, although it is a single-digit temperature. We are seeing that plus temperature, and we're still in February, so who would have expected this? We are going to be seeing these warm conditions continue on through the weekend, so just wait as I get a little bit more into it. But with that wind chill, we are seeing some strong winds out right now, so it's feeling around -3, but still that single digit at that minus point. So hopefully everybody's enjoying their beautiful day outside. Switching over to temperatures across the region for Alberta and Saskatchewan. On the Alberta side, most spots are just sitting at that 3-degree mark as well. Most are seeing that 5 degrees right now with Wainwright, Provost, and over in Vegreville. We look over in Edmonton, still beating out everybody on the Alberta side with 6 degrees. Go a bit higher up, and they are slightly cooler with that 0 mark in Cold Lake and 1 in Lac La Biche, but we all are seeing those plus temperatures. And we are definitely warming up, seeing from what we were looking at compared to yesterday with those minus points. Switching over to our Saskatchewan side, they are seeing those single digits as well, kind of matching with us on our Alberta side. Most spots are seeing that 2 and 3 degree mark over on the Saskatchewan side. 1 degree up in Green Lake, while it's -1 in Meadow Lake, the only spot with that minus area. Go a bit higher up, actually, with Isla Cross, they're seeing the coolest with that -2. And going lower, Macklin is looking at the warmest there with 4 degrees. So most are just seeing between 2 and 3 on our Saskatchewan side. North Battleford will be cooling down to that low of -5 for their evening low, so we will be seeing those single-digit minuses for our evening lows tonight. Expecting a beautiful night. Won't be seeing anything too crazy with those conditions. Going to be expecting a more calm night, not seeing a high chance of some flurries. Then for their Saturday tomorrow, North Battleford is hitting that 0 mark and seeing plenty of sunshine. So a beautiful Saturday expected for North Battleford. Looking at Cold Lake, they'll be going down to low of -3. A beautiful temperature. I don't think anyone can complain for that Friday night temperature, as we are, like I was saying before, in February. We weren't really seeing this last year, and they will be seeing more cloudier conditions tonight rather than a high chance of some flurries. Then for their Saturday, Cold Lake will be expecting that 3 degree mark once again, and a mixture of some sun and clouds. So another beautiful day for Cold Lake tomorrow.
Looking at us here in the border city, we'll be going down to a low of -4 for our evening low. Won't be cooling down by too much. No need to plug in those vehicles tonight. We are going to be taking a break from those cords for the next few days, which is always nice, as we have been seeing throughout the week. And then for our Saturday tomorrow for the border city, 2 degrees, and we will be looking at a mixture of some sun and cloud. It's supposed to be turning more cloudier conditions throughout the day, but at least we will be seeing a little bit of sun peeking behind those clouds throughout it. So hopefully everybody enjoys their beautiful day for Saturday tomorrow. And let's look a little bit more into it as we look in our hourly forecast, as we will be starting off slightly cooler with around -4 in the morning. Then we will be reaching that 1 and 2 degree mark through the mid-afternoon, then only reaching that 0 mark as we cool down through tomorrow evening. So be prepared. We have a beautiful Saturday ahead here in the border city. That's all I have for now. With more coming up after the break.
Sale season is now in full swing, and our Thomas Wildman has lots of prices and sales to go over in this week's cattle report.
Thanks, guys. We're here at MJT Farms, the site of the Back to the Basics bull sale, where I got the opportunity to talk to Mick and Kurt Trefiak about their upcoming sale this Saturday.
We're going to have an auction here at 2 o'clock where we'll sell about 105 bulls, I guess. There'll be Angus, Charolais, Herefords, and a few Simmental and F1 bulls as well.
Yeah, we've been in it. My dad was in the Hereford breed for years, and he was in it, you know, in the 30s, and he carried it on, had bull sales at his place there for quite a few years, and then we carried on. This is our 29th sale here, and we started out with the Herefords in the start, but we have had Angus in here for 29 years. Our first sale had some Angus in there, and now just this last year this will be our first set of Charolais bulls to sell through the sale, and we've kind of kept the same philosophy as we're going to try and make females and maternal in our set of bulls that we've got here. If we can make the females, the bulls will come along.
It is a family farm here, that's for sure. It's been purebred cattle have been in our family now for 4 generations, and probably been around this place, yeah, nearly 80 years, I guess, for purebred cattle. So, yeah, we'll have the 3 most recent generations, the surviving generations here on sale day, and everybody will be taking a part in it, just like they are every day around here, I guess.
And now time for a look at the market report for Northern Livestock Sales here in Lloydminster. Starting with slaughter cattle, young cows were a range of 100 to 115. Then D1 to D2 cows were a range of 90 to 105. D3 cows were 75 to 85. And mature bulls were 130 to 140. And now looking at feeder cattle, steers from 900 to 1,000 pounds were 220 to 237, 800 pounds to 900 pounds were 237 to 255, 700 pounds to 800 pounds were 255 to 265, 600 pounds to 700 pounds were 265 to 295, 500 to 600 pounds were 295 to 330, and 400 pounds to 500 pounds were 330 to 347. And now looking at feeder heifers, from 900 pounds to 1,000 pounds, they were a range of 200 to 212. 800 pounds to 900 pounds were 212 to 225. 700 pounds to 800 pounds were 225 to 235. 600 pounds to 700 pounds were 235 to 245. 500 pounds to 600 pounds were 245 to 265. And 400 pounds to 500 pounds were 265 to 285. So this Monday, the 11th annual Premier Hereford and Angus sale took place here at Northern Livestock Sales in Lloydminster. This sale has multiple breeders offering animals. So for Lock Farm's Hereford offering, they had a high of $10,000. Their Angus offering was a high of $11,000. Ace Hereford's high seller was $8,750, and Aerie Hereford's high seller was $7,250, and the sale averaged $5,500. And that will do it for this week's cattle report. For Primetime Local News, I'm Thomas Wildman.
Now here are your agriculture prices for today. The 4th annual Midwest Snow Kings Sled Rally takes place next month in Marshall. Our Callan Dunlop has more.
Hi, I'm Callan Dunlop with Primetime Local News, and today I'm joined by Amy with the Midwest Snow Kings. And to start, can you explain what the 4th annual snow rally is?
We're the Midwest Snow Kings, and we're a local sled club, and we like to raise money for the community. So with a little bit about our club or whatever, we started our Facebook page, the Midwest Snow Kings, back in the fall of 2017. It was just for local sledders to get together in and around the Lloydminster area. So yeah, we all got together, and just every time we got together, more and more people were joining. So we decided back in 2019 to put on a rally. This year with our rally, we're having it on March 11th at Marshall, Saskatchewan at the Three Links Hall. And it's from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. is the registration. And we're going to be having a band as well starting at 8 p.m.
Can you talk about what sort of things are happening at this event?
So registration, like I said, is from 10 to 1, and it's going to be Alberta time. And we are going to have lots of door prizes. The Marshall School, they're going to be doing a 50-50 there for us as well. And that's all going to be at the hall. And then when riders go out, there's going to be a halfway point. The Legion is going to be cooking the burgers and the smokies and stuff. And then when they get back to the hall, they're able to go and see if they've won a prize or whatever. We'll have that up on the board when they get back.
Do you guys have any aspirations for the events in the future, the 5th annual one? Like, do you have any ideas of what you guys will do in the future?
Yeah, well, right now we're not a nonprofit, but we are physically, so we're not registered. But between now and next year, we're actually going to get that registration number. We're going to become a nonprofit, and we're able to have bigger and better prizes for our members for when they do come out. And if it's bigger and better, more money's coming into the club, more money's going back into the community per se. So we just want to be able to just give back, right?
Is there any last comments that you'd like to make to the general public?
I took some notes here. Today, like as of today, we have 562 members on our page. So we thank each and every one of you. Last year we had 234 registered riders. So that was a pretty good turnout compared to our first year. We had 108. It just seems like it's getting bigger and bigger. What we do as a club is we donate back to the community. So in the previous years, we've donated to like the Legion, local community members or people that are just in need, right? This year, we're donating to the school's breakfast program, the hot lunch program. That is a big one. We like to help the kids out. We're donating to the Legion, which the Legion, they will be cooking burgers and the smokies down at the halfway point, the first responders, and also to the food bank. Also previous years, what was it, in 2020, all the excess food, we took it down to the men's shelter the next day. So they had a little bit of food as well. We do pride ourselves in a very well marked trail out there. We get a lot of compliments on it. It's a nice, fun, family oriented day. Come out, and the weather's supposed to be good. We're supposed to be getting more snow, hopefully. But yeah, our trail goes down to the Battle River. It's about 80 kilometers long, and it's usually a good time. We get nothing but good reviews back all the time.
All right, awesome. That covers everything I wanted to talk about. So thank you so much for taking the time, Amy.
You're welcome. Thank you for having us.
Time to hand things over to the lovely Shelby Clark for weather.
Thank you so much once again there, Miss Reese Andrews. Yes, now taking another extended look at your weather forecast. We will be starting off with our central zone of the provinces. And we are moving it back up in that heat there. We are seeing some warmer conditions compared to what we were looking at for the past few days this week. We are even getting closer to that 10-degree point for those plus temperatures, so I don't think anybody's really complaining. 6 degrees in most spots here with Edmonton and Red Deer, 7 for Edson and Rocky Mountain House, while at the basket, Jasper kind of in the middle with that 4 and 5. And then we are just seeing 8 degrees up in Whitecourt, so Whitecourt is definitely seeing the warmest condition compared. And up in Cold Lake, they are slightly cooler, just at that 1 degree mark, but still seeing that plus temperature. Switching over to our Saskatchewan side, they are looking slightly cooler compared to our Alberta side, although they are still kind of continuing on that pattern of seeing those single-digit minus marks. -1 for Meadow Lake and Prince Albert, while Melfort is seeing the coolest with that -2, and then we got 5 degrees in North Battleford, so they definitely have warmed it back up. A drastic change in temperatures from what they have been seeing throughout the week, and that 1 degree there in Saskatoon. Now, as we go over to our northern zone, they have warmed it up as well. We are seeing a beautiful day for most spots. Uranium City and Stony Rapids have been seeing that pattern of definitely the coolest conditions compared, as they are getting closer to that -20 mark. They are kind of continuing that, seeing those double digits with -14, -17. The rest are seeing those single digits. -5 in Wollaston Lake, while we're looking at -6 and -4 for South End and Flin Flon. La Loche and Buffalo Narrows both at that -2, seeing the warmest. And then we go back over to our Alberta side, and they are seeing some nice warm temperatures, especially down in this area here, as they are seeing those plus temperatures. But we go a bit higher up, and High Level and Fort McMurray continues to see those cool temperatures, -6, -8. And Fort Chipewyan continues to see more of Saskatchewan side's conditions with around -15 there. So seeing those double digits. So some spots are seeing those minus marks, single digits, but then we still got those warm areas over on the Alberta side in our northern zone. Going over to our southern zone, of course, they are seeing warm conditions, kind of matching with us here in our central area. They're not seeing too much of extra warmness, I guess, compared to our central area. 8 and 7 for Medicine Hat and Lethbridge. They are seeing probably the warmest conditions compared. 6 degrees in Calgary, while Banff and Coronation are just at that 2 and 3, so slightly cooler, but still seeing those plus degree marks. And now going over to our Saskatchewan side, they have warmed up as well. They usually have been seeing those minus areas throughout the week compared to their Alberta side in our southern zone. But now they are looking at those plus temperatures in most spots. 5 degrees for Swift Current and Moose Jaw. The rest are seeing between 1 and 3. And then over in Yorkton, of course, they are just seeing that minus mark with -1. But now as we look at some overnight temperatures expected tonight as we head into our weekend, look at these beautiful evening low temperatures. It's shocking to know that we are in February right now and seeing these evening lows. I don't want to jinx it. Don't want to jinx it. We might be seeing this drop down soon, but I think everyone should take advantage and enjoy their time outside and spend it outside for the weekend for sure. We got 2 spots here with Meadow Lake and Isle La Crosse, expecting a high chance of those flurries later on, as well as over in Bonnyville, kind of expecting an early shower expected in Bonnyville later on through the evening, but still all these spots are going to be seeing those single digits. Low of -2 expected for Meadow Lake, low of -3 and 4 for Bonnyville and Paradise Hill. Isle La Crosse will be seeing the coolest compared with a low of -8, but still seeing, that single digit. And right in the middle there is Provost with that low of -6. Looking at some more surrounding areas, even nicer temperatures on this list compared, and all of these spots are expecting a calm night tonight, maybe some more wind chill outside, but still beautiful temperatures. Low of -6 is the coolest expected for Unity and Wainwright. Murnum and Pearslin and Calgary will be seen between a low of -2 to -4 degrees, but still a beautiful night tonight expected. Now looking at our extended forecast for here in the border city, as we were seeing earlier on and seeing those plus temperatures for our weekend. So be prepared with 2 degrees tomorrow, that 1 degree Sunday. Make sure to get out there and enjoy it. Mixture of some sun and cloud all throughout the weekend. And as we head into next week, we will be starting off pretty warm on Monday with that 2 degree mark. That's all I have. Our Reese Andrews will have more news coming up after the break.
happy to be joined once again with Jenna Barold-Cleary with the Lloydminster Museum and Archives. And there's another interesting event coming up this Saturday. It's all about the Canada's British home children. And it's a very fascinating bit of Canadian history that I didn't know about, and I don't think a ton of people do know about this part of history. So I'm very excited that there is something going on at the museum. So thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you very much for having me again, Abby. It's great to be able to share about the programs going on at the museum.
Of course. Now, can you tell me a little bit about what this session will be and this event, and a little bit about the history that people will learn if they take part in this?
Of course, so I'll start out with the logistics of the event, of the program here. So it's happening this coming Saturday, February 11th, from 1 until 3 p.m. It's relatively cheap to join us. It's just $5, and we recommend that people ages 16 and up join us here at the Lloydminster Museum and Archives. And so our instructor for this program is Susan Brazo. And so she is an author, she is a researcher and a former instructor at Lakeland College. And so she has provided this informational presentation in several different locations. And so she's excited to share it here at the museum. She did her master's thesis on this particular subject. So we're very excited to learn more from her. And so essentially what the Canada British Home Child Program was children that were, I suppose, more impoverished were sent over to Canada to families. So they were children that came from orphanages, people that came from workhouses, as well as from families that were unfortunately impoverished. Some families had no choice but to send their children to another country, which happened to be Canada. And so over 100,000 children were sent over here to Canada over the course of nearly 100 years between the 19th and 20th century. And so Susan herself is a descendant of a British home child that came over to Canada. And so she has made it her mission to share the stories of these children. Some stories were perhaps happier. The majority of stories, though, were ones that I think are they need to be shared so that we never forget these stories. Some of them were perhaps a little bit more traumatic. And so it's important that this history is not forgotten within Canada.
Yes, I was about to bring up, some of the stories aren't as bright because the program itself sounds like it's a good opportunity for, these kids to get out of the impoverished neighborhoods or families that they've been a part of, maybe start a better life. But like you mentioned, some of these stories are very dark, and a lot of this is not taught. I definitely wasn't taught this in school. Do you have an understanding of why something like this was not taught, considering, it was not everything, like you said, was super happy. There were some, children who did go through some very traumatic and dark events throughout their lives.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I can do my best to answer it the way I can. I know that if you join us here for this presentation, Susan will be able to provide a very thorough information regarding why exactly it's not taught. But my understanding is that when we have these darker stories, children, and as they grow into adults, they're a little bit nervous about sharing these stories because they want to perhaps keep it down so that they don't have to relive traumas, or they just want to move forward with their life. And so I think for many stories, for the Canadian British home children, as well as people with other traumatic histories, they might not want to share it as much. And so what ends up happening is it's not passed down to their children, and it comes to light later. So for Susan, it came to light, I believe, later in her life when she was finally able to take a look at, what is my grandmother's story? And then when she was able to take a look at the documents and learn more about the program itself, that is when her grandmother's story came to light. And I think that's what's happening now. Others are taking a look at the stories of their grandparents, their ancestors, and just learning about it now. And that's probably why it's only come to light so recently.
Yes, and that does definitely make a lot of sense because, you know, some people aren't so comfortable talking about something traumatic that happened, but it's fantastic. We have someone like Susan who is like, I need to share this and I need people to know about what did happen. And you know, when she learns about these traumatic events that happened to her own family, it is important to get that message out there and to let people know about what happened to some of these children growing up back in the day. How can people get involved with this event? How can they come out? You mentioned there was tickets that needed to be purchased. How can they do so if they'd like to join in on this event?
Of course, if they would like to join us at this event, they can give the museum a call. That's 780-874-3720, or they are welcome to register online. We actually have a new link that will take you right to the registration, which is lloydminster.ca/almostforgotten. And so they can register there. And then from there, if they are interested in researching their own family history, they can reach out to Susan because she is a part of several organizations that study genealogy, that study family history. So if they're looking more for that sort of information, they can always speak to her then.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I know that this is going to be a real learning opportunity for anybody who shows up, and, you know, just another little bit of Canadian history that more people should learn about and should know about. So it's fantastic that we have someone like Susan being able to come out, and the Lloydminster Museum and Archives for being able to hold these sort of events to learn more about certain events in Canadian history that we may not know about. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me, Abby. And yeah, we are very fortunate to have her speak on Saturday, and we're very fortunate to be able to share, to educate the public on the stories that are lesser known, stories that are almost forgotten.
There's so many great shows that are coming to the Vic Juba Community Theatre this month and into next month as well. And coming up right away, this Sunday night, the Edmonton Pops Orchestra are going to take to the stage. You're going to hear some fantastic music from Broadway, songs from Grease, right to The Wizard of Oz, and so much more. Then coming up on Monday at the Vic Juba Community Theatre, there's a show that the whole family is going to enjoy, A Dinosaur Tale. You've got the opportunity to take in this great show and watch as a pair of intrepid 8th graders, they have to send some mysterious creatures back home before the end of their field trip. For all the details and to get your tickets, head online, vicjubatheatre.ca. Coming up next week, the fundraising for Telemiracle is going to continue in our area. Coming up on Wednesday night in Lashburn, that's when they're hosting their annual Telemiracle hockey game. The Lashburn High School, J.H. Moore Elementary, and members of the community, they all take part in this hockey game, and each of the players, they raise $100 to take part in this game. Those funds go to Telemiracle, and when you head out to the game, you can support Telemiracle as well by getting a ticket for the 50-50, by taking part in the raffle, by checking out the silent auction items, and more. You can head out to the Lashburn CN Sportsplex Wednesday night. Puck drop is 6 o'clock. And coming up tomorrow night, comedian Jimmy the Janitor is going to be live in Neilburg. The show is a fundraiser for the Manitou Pioneer Museum. There's still a few tickets available, and you can get them at Synergy Credit Union in Neilburg. Well, whatever you choose to do this weekend, we hope you stay safe and stay healthy.
What's Happening is brought to you by Northern Factory Workwear, Circle Drive East, Saskatoon, and Highway 17 South, Lloydminster.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
Joining us today for this week's entertainment panel is the classic Abby St. John. Of course, she is here joining us. Thank you so much.
Of course. You know I love being here. We say it every week.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't think anybody is going to miss the Friday entertainment panel. Otherwise, you're losing out.
Exactly.
Yeah, and this one is kind of going to be a DC entertainment panel. There's a lot of announcements that happened, so we just kind of want to start off and speak about all those announcements, see what's coming up, because, you know, it's definitely switching up for the DC kind of universe that's starting off. But I think one that I really want to start off with is kind of speaking about for the Batman, how it was renewed for, of course, a second
yes,
movie.
It's going to be called The Batman Part 2, which means that it's going to be a continuation off of the first one. It's going to obviously include Robert Pattinson's Batman, and I think he really proved himself. He proved the naysayers wrong, because I know even I was a little questioning the choice of casting him when it first came out, but he really proved himself. I would just like to see more. Yeah. Which I love that we're getting more. I hope it, you know, Matt Reeves kind of keeps it the same feel, which I full-heartedly expect him to. And not only that, we're also going to get a series on Arkham.
Yes.
And on the Penguin. So that's going to be really exciting. However, the way James Gunn, who just took over as co-CEO of DC, he is making a lot of changes, which is nice. But he has stated that this Batman is not a part of the DC universe. It's going to be its own separate thing called Elsewhere Titles. It's not going to be a part of the actual timeline, which is interesting because then they can just keep doing what they're doing, you know? If they start adding too much to this universe, it'll become jumbled and confusing.
Very confusing.
But he did state that if any projects did not fall under the DCU, it will be made blatantly obvious, which is good because it's, you know, so that I'm very excited for that. But they have a ton of other projects starting this year. Unfortunately, Part 2 of the Batman's not coming out till 2025.
Yeah,
so
that's the longest one we gotta wait for.
We have a
which
bit of a
is
wait,
shame.
but this year we are going to be getting some movies this year, starting off with March 17th, Shazam! Fury of the Gods. I'm actually pretty excited for the second one. And then Blue Beetle, which I don't know too much about. All I know is that it follows a Latino superhero. Yeah. That's coming out August 18th, which I'm intrigued about. I'm hoping that we get a trailer or even a teaser coming up soon because it'd be nice to, you know, see more about it. I would like to really learn more about it. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom is coming out on Christmas this year. Again,
not too excited on that one.
Nope. The other, the first Aquaman did not get really good ratings, and then that also has a little bit of controversy following that as well with Amber Heard. But I think that's kind of swept a little bit under the rug due to, you know, the Ezra Miller situation.
The way it was, the movie itself wasn't entirely too good, like you're saying with the low ratings. So I think, honestly, besides the Amber Heard stuff, how you're saying that was it's kind of over, not over, but a little bit swept under the rug. It's also because I think a lot of people didn't honestly enjoy.
Yeah, it would be different if the movie was really good, because I've seen bits and pieces of it, and I was like, oh, this isn't what I was expecting, even from the little bit that I did watch. Something I'm extremely excited for, which is coming out next October 2024, is Joker Folie à Deux. I'm sorry for every French speaker.
Good for you for even trying it, because
I had to ask our French person here to help me pronounce it, but it's the second Joker movie, and it's going to, I'm increasingly getting more and more excited about it. When it was first announced that it was going to be a musical, I was like, okay, that's weird. But, you know, I've seen Lady Gaga in her costumes and her makeup, and I'm so excited for this movie. And I'm excited to see more clips from it, like a teaser trailer or something, or even a poster. I'm very excited for it. So, and then there's a few things that are in development that don't have any release dates. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow is in development. The Brave and the Bold, Swamp Thing is another one. Waller and Peacemaker Season 2, huge fan responses from Peacemaker Season 1. And then we have Gotham Knights, Bad Boy Detectives, and The Sandman. So a lot of DC projects on the go for the next several years. So we'll see how it does. You know, they can give a full-fledged plan of everything.
Yeah,
but
let's see it in action.
Let's see it in action, exactly, once the movies come out.
Yeah, and I know there is like some sad stuff still for DC, like Batgirl, the cancellation, and Wonder Woman 3 is canceled as well. I guess it was just a part of the restructural plan of it. And there's even some that aren't in development, but for like status unknown. I was just seeing how it was supposed to be Static Shock. Might be something that might be a live action one with Michael B. Jordan, but we'll see about that.
That would be pretty exciting.
But I know some people at work were just saying that they were excited, but they were saying maybe it might be better in cartoon form, like Spider-Verse. Like it might be better like that. But I think it's good to see how many announcements are coming up,
Yep.
and with the new co-CEOs, hopefully it works out.
Yep.
Hopefully we'll have a little bit more of a challenge for Marvel. Doubt it, but
yeah.
I mean, the Batman and Joker though, excellent.
They have a long
still.
way to go to reach Marvel's podium.
Yes, we shall see what's coming ahead, and we'll have some more information on more of these projects soon.
Yep.
But that's all the time we have for this week's entertainment panel. So once again, thank you so much for joining us today, Abby.
Of course, thank you.
That's all the time we have for you today on Primetime Local News. Thank you for joining us, and have a great night.